What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Geopolitics with Ramin. I wanted to do this short video to talk about sanctions relief and the Libya model. And I wanted to make a comparison. So, um, one of the reasons why the Iranian delegation maybe might have backed down in terms of like negotiations. Now they've said that they're closing the Hormuz again. They go back and forth like this all the time, right? Is that but I think that China pressured Iran a little bit here because they don't want the world economy to collapse, obviously. But I also believe that, of course, the Iranian economy was taking a hit. So there is that, obviously. But my point still stands from the last video. There is a strong political class, business class in Iran that wants Iran to open up to the West. And if you have read Which Path to Persia, they talk about that too. That with this quote unquote civil society, this reformist camp, this very pro-Western class in Iran, this capitalist class, they can infiltrate Iran, basically. They can, infiltrate the Islamic Republic. They can get rid of these conservative factions within the country. And, if you actually take away the sanctions, this was the plan during the Barack Obama years to, take away the sanctions, do business in Iran, infiltrate the society even more, because now it's even easier, right? And you put a guy like, let's say, Rouhani in power, right? That was the whole idea. The problem was, though, the West Asia region, or the Middle East, which is the colonial name, right? This region makes a lot of money for a lot of weapons manufacturers. So if there isn't a constant tension here between, let's say, the Gulf Arab states, Iran, and Israel, there's not going to be a lot of money to be made. And this is the contradiction within the political capitalist class in the United States, right? They have different approaches to how to deal with this problem. But I would say that sanctions relief might sound good on paper, but in the long run, I believe it is dangerous. So what is the Libya comparison here? So during the 1980s, Libya was on an oil embargo, right? Nelson Mandela, after the fall of the apartheid government in the 1994? Yeah, but he went on this like tour to thank, or I don't know exactly, but he helped Libya and Gaddafi to get out of this this isolation, right? Because at that time Libya was a pariah state. Libya was a sponsor of terrorism, according to the United States and its Western allies. Gaddafi had been sending money to the IRA, helping Palestinian factions. It helped the ANC in South Africa. And, he even supported the Black Panther Party and the Nation of Islam at some point, right? So Gaddafi was like this pariah. Nelson Mandela helped him to get out of that oil embargo, which was hurting the Libyan economy very badly, right? So in the 1990s, Libya started to liberalize more and more. Sanctions relief was, it was gone. Like, sanctions were gone, more or less. British, American companies, French companies, etc., they were investing in their oil sector. Tony Blair came there, shook his hand, all of that, right? But Here's the backside of that. The CIA was able to build a network of jihadists in Libya, especially in Benghazi. Traditionally speaking, Gaddafi faced the most opposition in eastern Libya, right? And in 2011, when the Arab Spring came, they started to activate their network, right? But I'm gonna be real with you. One of the most leading people to liberalize Libya was actually Saif al-Islam, his son. He would later regret that. He was actually killed not too long ago, right? But he also pardoned, like, what was it, 3,000 jihadists out of prison, which turned out to be a huge mistake for the Gaddafi government's point of view. But anyway, the CIA had infiltrated Libya with its jihadist networks predominantly. And voila, I mean, they started to attack police stations, seizing weapons, and then you got that 1973 UN resolution, which called for a no-fly zone over Libya because of allegations of Gaddafi feeding in his soldiers Viagra to, grape women, and it talks about, exterminating the rats, that is to say, massacring all of Benghazi, and a lot of yada yada, all these lies, right? Turned out to be lies. I mean, even the NTC people admitted that. So this is how they infiltrated Libya. Sanctions relief. I want my people to understand that sanctions relief isn't necessarily a blessing. We were supposed to have a اقتصاد مقاومت, a resistance economy. But again, as I said in my last video, there is no checks and balances in Iran. We have this oligarchy in our country that is holding the true potential back, in my opinion. I think the Islamic Republic is holding it back, to be honest with you. I think their approach is way too soft in many regards. We should have just built the bomb, the ICBM, and that's it. I don't care if we have to close the borders. I was listening to one Iranian political analyst, Abul Fazl. His last name slipped my mind right now, but he said, yeah, there is still a lot of people in Iran. Not saying everybody in Iran, obviously, but there is a large percentage that, yeah, they're absolutely addicted to bling bling stuff. And this is, unfortunately, a very common stereotype among Middle Eastern people, generally speaking, albeit, Kurdish, Persian, Arab, Assyrian, you name it. We like shiny things, and we like Western luxury brands. And unfortunately, we will sell our souls for it a lot of times. We were supposed to live like Sufi ascetics, I guess, but we're not. A lot of times this Islam stuff is just for show. And I want people to understand that. But nonetheless, there is a large percentage in Iran that definitely wants that. They are Western educated, some of them. And I'm not just talking about liberal secular people here. I've emphasized that in the last video too. They're actually religious people who have this mentality. They have studied in the United States, in Canada, France, whatever. And they have adopted this self-hatred, this kind of like, if we don't open up to the West and stuff like that, we will be inferior forever. They can teach us how to be a part of the world and stuff like that. What happened to 7,000 years of civilization? Come on, man. No, this is nonsense. These people are very dangerous. They have infiltrated a large portion of our society, and their god is money. But the problem is that they are allowed to have a voice, and I'm extremely disappointed at the government for allowing this to happen. But yeah, I just wanted to make a comparison with Libya, and for you guys to understand that there is the sanctions relief is a backdoor. Shit, not even a backdoor. Sorry, it's the goddamn front door to basically infiltrate Iran and then subdue it from within. Yeah. If you like my content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.